crisis. There are probably 100 people that are immediately affected by not having funds, federal funds, to make the wages. So what we're doing is we've laid them off for 3 days, bringing them back. But this here will give us some flexibility to get them to get some unemployment revenues the quickest way possible. So that's one of the reasons we're doing it. The other reasons, there's several other things that are happening in the state that is causing some headaches that we need to address. And so it may be that we need some flexibility in some of the rules and regulations. And so that's really why we're doing this.
Governor, can you give us an example of an action that you might take?
Well, right now there's Moose Horn up in, Moose Horn is federal lands, and on top of the federal lands is a state park. So the battle is, or the argument is, they can close the federal lands, and I'm saying, but you can't close the state park, so we have to get through that dilemma. And so we're going to be dealing with that as soon as we're done here. We have some employees, for instance, they're confidential employees. I was just made aware just a few minutes ago that we get it, if we're going to lay them off, you got to give them 15 days notice. Well, I can give them 15 days notice, but they're not going to get paid. So rather than do that, we're going to lay them off so they can get unemployment in 5 days. So that's the kind of things that we're trying to do.
There's a lot of this to be able to make some of these employee actions without the complication, my word, of union contract?
We're negotiating with the unions. We've met 3 times. They're going to meet again today. Hopefully we can come to some resolutions. It is my goal solely to get money in state employees' pockets as quickly as possible, because we don't have the federal funds. So we can push them over to the unemployment. They have the 5-day wait, then they can get some revenue. Hopefully this will be resolved quickly, and certainly the 17th is a critical day for the United States, and if we go beyond that, it's going to be really, really bad.
How do you respond to those who say this is an overreach of power?
Read the Constitution.
Governor, have you consulted?
I mean, it's an authority the governor has in state of emergency. I believe that having 2,700 people who work for the state who depend on federal funds for their paycheck is an emergency, and we don't have the money. So if that's an overreach, I overreached. But I think it's necessary.
Have you consulted with any other members of the RGA or any other governors to see if this is action that's being contemplated by others? Or?
Well, we've talked to them. The problem is every state constitution is different, and they have different powers. Our staff is making a list of what powers each governor has and doesn't have. This, in our case, frankly, I made the decision because the first decision was to get employees' paychecks, and that was the only alternative we have. We met with the union. They told us that they were going to watch it and watch us monitor and managing the crisis, and they decide at some point. So we're waiting for that. When's that point? I don't know. But in the meantime, the only option I had other than this was to lay people off for 3 days, bring them back, and we've done that, and the money to pay them is coming out of the governor's contingency fund so that they can get some money. Then we either have to lay them off again, or we go for a permanent layoff and they get 2 more days and they go to unemployment. So it's a quick way of getting funds.
All those people who get laid off, once the Fed straighten this out, will be brought back to work.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. Believe me. And one of the things that this allows me to do is to waive the area that they have to go look for work, because one of the conditions on unemployment, you've got to go look for work. I don't want them to go look for work. We need them. They're trained and they're important to us.
And how many of these 2,700 people you think are at risk of getting furloughed?
Well, there's already 100 that have been furloughed. Every day is bringing more on. Some of the people are 100% paid by federal government, federal funds. Others are 75, others are 50, others are 25. Every day that this continues, there are going to be more. What we've identified is there are 2,739 people in the state that have some form of federal funding to their paycheck, tied to their paycheck. That is the part. Every day there are going to be more. If this goes on beyond, I'd say, the next 10 days, you could eventually, you'll see all 2,700 out there. But believe me, The 17th of this month is a critical day for the United States of America.
Obviously, I'm guessing you want them to raise the debt ceiling.
I'm not going to comment on that. It's a federal problem. I don't do their work, and I hope they don't go try to do mine.
Do you intend to honor the portions of the collective bargaining agreements with regard to bumping? I know the union is a little bit concerned that this action may affect who stays and who
Well, let me
goes.
tell you this. We do not have the capacity to bump 2,739 jobs in 10 days. We simply can't get it done. And if it gets done, if we attempt it, there is a lot of services that won't be going out on time. And so we are doing everything humanly possible to honor the collective bargaining agreement. That's why we called him early on last Friday. We want to work with him. We want this not to be a management and labor problem. We want it to be working together to get money in the employees' pockets.
So you're saying the union was involved with the discussions early on, sir?
Oh yeah, last week. We
Thank you.
started last week. We've had 3 meetings with them. They're ongoing. 4 meetings. 4 meetings, they're ongoing. And we're trying to get to a position where we can all agree we're doing the best thing for the employees.
Thank you.
This idea of the civil emergency declaration sort of come to be, what it sounds like it came pretty late from legislative leaders.
Well, we asked the legislative leaders last Friday to meet, and they couldn't meet till today. We were hoping to have a discussion on Monday. So for them to say that we didn't reach out, we did. We wanted to have a meeting on Monday to discuss. We had a meeting last Friday with the unions. We wanted to have a meeting with the legislative leaders in the Monday morning. Quite frankly, this whole idea of this civil emergency was just popped up in someone's mind yesterday. We looked at the laws, and it gives us some more flexibility to manage the crisis. That's all this does. It's a tool.
Who came up with the idea, sir?
It was almost simultaneously. I was talking to Hank while Carly was thinking about it, and then 2 got together. So yeah, I just talked to the governor about that. So that's how it came about.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Governor.